or looking for those who are seeking an off-grid lifestyle and how to get there. Talk about it. I have property available. I can put you off-grid here, get you on your own acre parcel, but it takes somebody who's self-reliant, self-sufficient, somebody who can be self-motivated. Breakfast here, doing some roast beef hash. Add some tomatoes and cook some eggs with that. So, have you ever wanted to get off grid? You ever wanted to live off grid? You ever wanted to be self-reliant, self-sufficient? I don't know what people are waiting for now. This is not a time to be hanging out in cities, so don't want to even associate with people who are connected to this system and trying to find those that are self-reliant, people who want to try to make a sacrifice in their life and maybe scale down and start from the ground up. So I figured I'd come in here and opportunities are made. And so some people, opportunities fall in their lap. And so I'm going to make the opportunity for people here. And if somebody wants to, make the opportunity, they'll be self-reliant, they'll be just fine. So I've decided that the 20-acre parcel that I have, I'm going to go ahead and put people on that parcel. So it's just a few miles from where I live, so I can be in touch with you. There's actually 2 roads that get to that property from here. So there's a back road and a main, hardball, a paved road. So it's time to go now. There's no more waiting. This is SHTF. I don't know. It will get worse. It's not like it's the end of the world, but there are ways to be able to help yourself here in this situation. One is to get away from the system and stop contributing to this lifestyle where you've got smart meters and you've got taxes and fees and fines and all these extra charges that you can do on your own. You can make your own power. You can do solar. You can do wind. There's multiple ways to make power. There's multiple ways to heat. There's multiple ways for light. So it's possible, but it takes people who are self-reliant, self-sufficient, people who are willing to make a sacrifice. And so I'll be now offering 1-acre parcels at $200 a month. So we're going to see if this will happen. See if I can get 4 or 5 people out there and get this filled up. People who I know there's thousands, of people who want to do it. So I live in an area where I have about another month and a half, 2 months of enough weather here to probably somebody could put together still. I feel comfortable. I mean, it is getting later in the season, but it is the dog days of summer. So it would have to be this month. Somebody has to come out here and get themselves all set up so they can get ready to, do the winter. It's not that rough out here. It's it's been really mild too over the last 10 years. It's not been nearly as extreme as it has in years past, but this place is in a very kind of a unique place. It's about an hour and a half from the larger city. There is another, Lapine is another town that's a little over an hour from here. And so there is access to being, getting back to the city, and there is access to being able to, there is a couple grocery stores, a few in town here, a Dollar General. We got lots of amenities out here. This is an outdoor paradise. It is 2.5 million acres, set apart from light pollution, protected. So this is a great place to spend, your days trying to set up a homestead, and it is affordable. It's the taxes on the property that I have for 20 acres is a little over $100 for the year. So no improvements made to the property. Of course, that would go up if you made improvements, but at this point in time, I'm not planning on, putting power. There is power at the property. I can potentially, if I get somebody out here, I have another 5-acre parcel for sale. And I might even consider selling the 20-acre parcel to the right person. If it's the right, they'd have to go show some good faith, that they can make a payment. And then I would, obviously I have a owner land sale company. I could owner land sell the 5 acres myself because I own that. That's deeded and titled in my name. And then I have the 20-acre parcel. So, anybody wants to live off grid. People are getting tired of living in the city. People who are tired of paying all these extra, taxes and fees and fines every time they pay a phone bill or well, you're gonna have to pay your phone bill, but water bill, you're paying taxes and fees on your water bill, and that's stupid. And you're giving money to the system where you don't have to. You're giving up things you can be doing for your own. So you could work for yourself. Imagine everything you did was yours. You built a cabin and it was yours. You got materials. You bought materials not for some renter, not for somebody else, but for yourself. There's so many people who think they can't make it, and yes, you can. You can make it. You just need to start out smaller. You need to not think that you need to live on some little piece of property in the city and build a big old house. How about starting out with a big old piece of property and having a smaller house, and you can just add on to your house later. So will anybody come? Probably not. Most people don't want to live the lifestyle. They want the easy peasy, not that you can't have light switches, not that you can't have running water, not that you can't have everything you do in a city, but they want the easy, sedentary lifestyle where they don't have to, earn their keep. So how about having enough land so you can grow food yourself? I'll be willing to rent out more land cheaper if somebody wants to grow food. I'd be willing to rent out a second parcel for $100. I'll give you a whole another acre to grow food. So 1 acre, $200, an extra acre, $100. That's cheap. You're not going to find anywhere that's going to let you live for that, and you're not going to get messed with. And it's a place where a lot of people just live off the grid, and they get a wind turbine, they get solar panels, and they just live out here, and they don't worry about having these big, huge bills. So doesn't attract many people. I know they like their city lifestyle, and they don't want to work for what they have as far as, it's already built for them. So some people like myself, I like to build things from the ground up. And I like to make my own way. I like to paint the picture for what I want it to be. I don't want to buy something that's already been, I start with a blank canvas, and then I make my own. I built 3 cabins out here, and they're all very unique to each other. Each one of them is different. They're not all the same. And I continue. Actually, went and picked up some material. I can't stand here all day today. I've got to get marched towards getting everything ready to, I want to have everything ready by the time I might be going and taking off and going to Ecuador to purchase another property down there for farming purposes. So if you ever wanted to farm, if you ever wanted to grow your own food, you ever wanted to raise your own animals, husbandry, this is the time. I don't know what people are waiting for. This is definitely probably the best time to get the hell out of the cities. You decide you're going to get out of town because you're going to leave town. All these people, I'm going to get out of town. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do all these. I see people too, and I don't know I don't have any kind of, exact on when things are going to just completely unfold, because in my opinion, they already are right now. This is SHTF. This is what SHTF looks like. So most people don't even see it, and that's fine. It just because it's hit the fan doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means that things are going to get more expensive. Nothing's getting cheaper. Gas is getting more expensive. Your power bill is getting more expensive. Your water bill is getting more expensive. Your insurance is getting more expensive. And so how are you going to maintain the lifestyle that you live? You're probably not. Most people are going to crash. They're going to get taxed out of their homes. They're going to get, it's getting more and more expensive to live. I mean, you got to, it costs money just to breathe right now. I mean, air, they sell compressed air in a can. Whoever thought that water would be more than a gallon of gas? And so it's ridiculous, But there are ways to combat this, and that is to do it yourself. So not even one single comment. I've been in here 10 minutes and nobody's even made one comment. That's hilarious, because it's not for most people. I know that most people can't live this lifestyle. It's just a little too much for them. And so people come out here and do really well, and then some people come out here and they don't make it because they don't try. And you have to try to be here. Like I said, it's a self-reliant. You make your way. You paint your own canvas. You are able to each each mark, each stroke is what you make of it. So I think that scares people. They need consistency, and they're afraid to paint their own, you know, future, if you will, you know. So we're gonna do some roast beef hash and some fresh eggs out here from the ladies. We only got 5 yesterday, but that's okay. We got 9 or the 8 the other day, so we'll have plenty of eggs out here for breakfast. So sometimes 4 or 5 eggs in the morning is to get the AM started. That like get some natural protein in your body, and starting the day with some good farm fresh eggs. So I started some roast beef hash here, brown that out pretty good, and then throw a couple eggs in there. And by that time, I'll probably have to get out of here and get to work. But I thought I'd come in here, and most people have opportunities fall in their lap, and this would just be one of those times where somebody gets the opportunity. And there's times where people, like myself, I make my opportunities. I don't Opportunity doesn't normally fall in my lap. I just didn't get that lifestyle, so that's okay. Most people don't get that. They wait for the opportunity, or it's there, it comes. But I make my opportunities. So I need people like that, people that an opportunity can come, but they're willing to make the best of what they have. So apparently most people not interested in living off the grid. But there is a number of people who are trying to get off the system. And so the best way to start cutting cost and actually get to a near zero cost lifestyle is to become self-reliant. Pay for your power inverter, pay for your charger controller, pay for your battery, pay for your solar panel, and now you're not getting a power bill. Now you're the power company. I'm the power company in my house. And there's no rolling brownouts or blackouts in here. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it goes. So I control the power. I'm in control of the water, and I'm in control of the heat. And they can't throttle my smart meter because I don't have a meter. I'm not metered. I'm off the grid. Could I go on the meter? Absolutely. I got power at the front of the property, but I just don't hook up to the power because I am my own power company. I have multiple ways to make power. So multiple ways to light, multiple ways to heat, multiple ways to cook, and that is the lifestyle. I could get to where I don't have any cost. If I sold this other property, the only cost that I would have right now would be obviously feed and, for the animals, but I paid off all the land, and I don't have the payments of credit cards and bills, so I can not have that burden, and I can focus all my earnings and put them towards the ministry, put them towards the Silver Rock Ranch out here, and put them towards the animals. Buy more feed, um, buy more animals. Whatever it is that I choose to make myself. How about cutting out your cost of food? How'd you like to get your food costs down to near nothing? Become self-reliant and grow your own food. I've been working on putting in an underground garden so that I can grow below the frost line, so I can grow year round out here, so the weather won't affect the grow season for me like that. Now, I might be perfectly ideal in the winter, but I can still grow food. I can grow food where I can obtain, minerals and vitamins and things like that. So I think it's hilarious. Like I said, 15 minutes in here, and not one of you made a stinking comment because you guys are afraid and you're scared and you live in your little cities. And I'm not doubting you, but you just so your little sedentary, comfortable lifestyle. But you're not going to have that forever. The power can go out, and then you're screwed. When the only way you can heat your house is with electric, and you don't have a backup, even just like a My Buddy heater, you're the people that come running for people like, me, trying to, hug up to me or hug up to people that are self-reliant, and you're not very efficient at anything you do. You smell like a city. You got that city smell to you, and that's okay. Um, it takes time to, you can go out to the country. It doesn't make you country. Even in this town that I live in, it takes a couple years, few years, sometimes 4 or 5 years to be considered local. So um, they don't, just not as accepting as some places, and that's not the end of the world. But self-reliance is the future, into the future. Or you're going to go into this digital future. And I'm not saying you can't use the modern conveniences. Again, you could be completely off grid and live just like you live right now, running water, you know, light switches, flushing toilets, the whole deal. Doesn't mean just because you're off the grid. It just means you're tired of paying the power bill. You're tired of paying the water bill. You're tired of paying these, for trash when you can burn trash, when you can compost, when you can. There's a lot of things you can do to cut your costs where you don't keep adding. And so most people just are pieces of garbage, because they're rubbish. They don't care about trying to stop feeding the system. And I consider that garbage. I don't want to deal with people who want to just keep adding money to the system. Every time you pay a tax on a bill, that's helping the people that are running this, show and program on everybody. So they like to be game. They like to be programmed. That's their deal, not mine. So what do? You don't sup with vipers. You don't cast your pearls before swine, right? Like Olivia, swine, pig shit. Goodbye, Olivia. Go somewhere else. Go fuck with somebody else. Grow up, child. You can sit there and hammer your freaking, your little bead down there all day or whatever you got, or, push your buttons, or you can actually do something. So I don't deal with people very well and as a matter of fact, I just don't deal with them at all. And that's why I live where I live, because I don't want to deal with people who are going to be a burden to society because they can't even go into the woods and hunt or gather anything. They'll die before they even eat their own arm. Die of starvation. You got legs and arms that you could have eaten. What about not eating your arms? What about being able to hunt and gather? Traps, set fall traps, run a trout line, skin a buck, do just some of the basic skill set that 3 generations ago that every man and woman had. Now they don't have anything. They don't have no skill set. They got a big fancy house with a bunch of televisions and a microwave and modern convenience and a smart meter, and the toaster talks to the refrigerator, and the refrigerator talks to the sheriff, and that reports it to the government. So keep living your lifestyle and keep pushing the buttons and keep doing this, live in your smart meter towers and your 5G whiz, and keep getting microwaved. You live in cities, you're getting microwave. What do you think those towers are? They're microwave towers, they're radio towers, they're 5G whiz towers. They're spewing all this millimeter wave. And that's why probably most people don't even care, because it's just dumbing them down. It's making them to where they don't even care. Oh, well, it's all right that I pay all these taxes to the man, and I'm getting paid federal and state taxes. No, I don't get paid. I got to pay those. How come you don't get paid by the federal and the state, but you get taxed by the federal and the state? So that's how I send them all through with dealing with people. That doesn't mean that I treat people poorly. I just don't, I'm not in the same way of people who don't care about society enough to say, hey, wait a minute, we're paying these taxes and we're making the rich man richer, and all I keep doing is getting poor. There's got to be another way. And there is another way. It's called self-sufficiency, self-reliance. Get off the grid, become a homesteader, cut your costs down to zero, or near zero. Never go to the Walmart, to the Piggly Wiggly, to the Kroger ever again, because you have everything you need. You can grow your own food. You can milk your own cows. You have goats, you have sheep, you have chickens, you have ducks, you have rabbits. You have meat sources. So you don't need to be paying these ridiculous prices for crap, hormone and steroid induced, sprayed with all kinds of bromelain and tenderizers and unnatural. It's just the meat is disgusting at the grocery stores compared to what you could raise on your own. 1,000 cow burger, that's disgusting, that pink slime. So there is a benefit to, people finding out that, it's not as cheap to raise eggs as they think, but the egg is worth the price. I've got eggs that don't taste anything like your eggs from the store. Right on. We got a lot of followers on TikTok over on the Predestined for Light channel that come from, that's a majority of our out of the country people are from Australia, and we do have quite a few people from here on the High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries that are from Australia. So a lot of people I know. Mental health recovery in Jesus' name. She's off grid. her and her husband, they have beautiful gardens over there in Australia, and they have that off-grid lifestyle. There are people who live in Australia that don't live like we live here in America too. A lot of people live off the grid because they live in the bush. I live in the outback. I'm in the Oregon outback, so maybe that's why I relate so well to people from Australia. So, and then I really don't like what happened to the people during the COVID. So there's another benefit of being, off the grid, is that when something like this rolls out, you just shut your gates and you don't participate in it, and you don't do it. So um, there are people who do this, and there are people who are very well at doing it. And you normally don't do something like this well just overnight. You got to learn from your mistakes. But as you still have the internet and the interweb, at your fingertips, I think it's, come on, son. We got no light here, but we got some cloud cover today. So again, most people don't think they can do this, or they never even consider it. But there are people who do, and then they jump, and then they do it, and they benefit. Like I said, I don't have a power bill. Of course, I had to buy batteries. Of course, I had to buy a charger controller and a power inverter and solar panels. But I'm invested now. And now I don't have a power bill. And every month I'm not paying taxes on a power bill. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I tell you what, Green, I don't sup with vipers, okay? And I'm not here to be nice. The word nice means to be stupid. I really like to define the words a lot. That I study the words like a stinking madman when it comes to words, because most people speak in, it's like another language. They speak in slang. So I don't try to make friends with the world, because the world right now doesn't care. And I'm actually trying to find people who are a little bit more hardened, and it doesn't mean that I'm an asshole, and I apologize for cursing, but an ass is somebody who's stubborn, an unwillingness to learn, um, like a donkey. They just don't have the ability to listen, to follow instructions. And I'm a veteran. I served in the United States Army, so I am a little militant at times, you know. And but that's how things get done. Sometimes I look at all the different projects that I have going. Oh, I got something in my eye. What is going on here? My eye is being weird this morning. So, but anyways, there is light at the end of the tunnel. For people who try this, they can reach that point. It's not like you're chasing a rainbow of a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that you can never reach. That's not what it's about. Yes, it does take time to set up. Yes, it does take um, upfront costs. But once you have these upfront costs taken care of, like, okay, I'll rent you out an acre for $200. Where are you going to find an acre for $200? The only requirement that I have is I don't want no trash. I don't want your neighbors. I don't want, and you won't have any neighbors. Actually, the very first person that moves out here is going to live all by themselves for a while. They won't have a neighbor anywhere they can see. And I can actually put on that 20-acre parcel. We put 3 or 4 out here. None of you probably even see each other. So, are you ready to go off grid? Are you ready to get off this, system? Are you tired of paying the man every time you look at a bill? You got all these fees and taxes, and you got a federal tax and a state tax, and then you got a net and a gross. You don't make money. You get taxed to death when you're on the system. Everything you do on their system has a fee. You have to ask permission to build on your own property. I don't ask permission to do nothing. I do what I want to do. I'm a veteran. I'm living the American dream, and nobody's going to tell me what I can and can't do. Okay. And that's how a lot of people live out here. If you don't bother anybody out here, they normally don't mess with you. I get messed with because I'm a veteran and I stand up to corruption. So, but most people come out here and can disappear for years and not be seen. Like, dude, I thought you moved out of town. Nah, I just got tired of coming to town. Wow, man. It's been a couple years since I seen you. How's things going? Oh, it's good. We put in a new water system and we did this. And oh, wow, you guys have been super busy, huh? Yeah, just more self-reliance, more ways to try to get to where they're, no, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, I'm not worried about it, Green, at all. Don't worry about it. Like I said, I have a pretty good filter. I can filter off any of the nonsense. Yeah. Got some roast beef hash going here. Just brown, I don't want to over brown it, but getting there. So today I'm going to try to get over to the Rusty Dragon here and get the installation done on the ceiling. I do have a hip camper coming out today, so I need to get some things moved over there. What time is it now? Okay, we got time. I can stay here about another half an hour, then I'm going to have to make sure that I'm up to work by 9 o'clock. So I'm my own boss. Nobody tells me what to do. If I want to sit here all day and I don't know, do nothing, that wouldn't be like me. I don't do nothing. But wait, maybe research or study, I can do that. Or maybe want to sit there and smoke some pot all day or something. I don't know. I can do whatever it is that I choose to do. If I'm not going to leave the house or something, I can stay here and whatever. But I don't do that. I spend 5 to 6 hours working, and that's about the time that I work on the property. I don't have to put that much time in because I put so many years in. But when I put 5 or 6 hours out here, this place just grows. It just keeps growing and growing. I have so many projects going right now. I have probably 10 separate projects going right now as we speak. Pretty large projects. All of them should take my individual attention, but I just spread myself, and I like to just tool around and do this for a couple hours and go do that for a couple hours and then go do this and take a break and then get back, and don't go anything super hard. So that's the lifestyle. I like to have more of a cruise control and don't rush to do anything. That's why I'm going to go ahead and open this availability up to see if somebody wants to come out here, because you got about 2 months now before you probably need the winter. And that doesn't mean I built all through the winter last winter. I didn't stop. I kept building. But it is possible to get off the grid. And I think if I give somebody this opportunity, you could pull out here with a travel trailer, your animals, and just park. Where are you going to find a place to park for $200 a month where you won't get messed with? So I'm offering that. I will definitely screen. I'm not just going to let anybody come out here. It's not on this property. It's on a property 3 miles down the road. It's the nicest property I own, hands down. I bought this property to put in fourplexes and bought it for my son, but I don't know if my son is alive anymore, and I haven't been able to locate him and my daughter. So it hurts my heart, but they've been gone and missing for about 15 months now. So I need to not just let this keep bringing me down, because it's something that weighs on my mind every day. How my son is missing and my daughter, and this property, I purchased it and was going to move them when they came out here, and we're going to move out to this valley. That's the property they decided on. It's got the nicest roads. It's got beautiful views of the Table Rock out here. It's just a beautiful property. But $200, I'll give you a spot, let you park your camper. You can come out here in a tent. I came out here and lived in a tent, so I don't want to hear it. I did it with a tent, an army tent. I moved my son into a motorhome, but I lived in a tent for a while, and I was fine with that. I had a wood stove in there, and I had, I was comfortable. But I've upgraded. I built cabins out here. You can build your own cabin. I can get you materials for next to no cost, next to nothing. Some materials I can get you next for nothing, just the cost to go pick up the material. I have some, made some good relationships with people out here, and I have access to building materials for next to nothing. I have a lady out here who works really hard, and that's what I just went and bought that tent from her. It cost me $100, but they're probably almost $80 a sheet, $100 a sheet, and I got about eight sheets of it. And they're real long. They're like 20-foot sheets. So I've got access to like the building material that I put on the Dragon, on the Rusty Dragon for the hearth. It was something that, it was a job, again, that was a tear out and then repurpose the material and turn it into a beautiful fireplace hearth. Just gorgeous. Even nicer than the one in here. So, boy, that Rusty Dragon is beautiful. That's a beautiful building. I am very happy. Kevin stayed in there for a while, and he loved it. He just absolutely loved it. They love the energy in there. It's just neat because everything in there has been repurposed. Everything has been used twice. Some of it's third time. The only things that are new on that building, there's only one thing that's new is the four windows, the windows that are in the building. Other than that, there's nothing in that building that has not been used at least twice. So some of this it's its third, or well, now twice. You know what I'm saying? It's all repurposed. So I love that building. I've actually thought about maybe moving into that building over the winter months and renting out the Rusty Cowboy here. This is a bigger um, cabin. This is 40, 40 foot. The other one's 20. So, but they're both vaulted. They have high ceilings. That's what's really nice. The Rusty Butterfly is a building that I've finished the exterior of the building, but I haven't finished the interior, and I'm working on that. Kevin helped me by tearing out the inside of that, and I can't wait for the burn months to get here so I can burn off a bunch more of that. I didn't get to burn it all off. So you can live a great lifestyle out here, brothers and sisters. This is the American dream. If you've ever wanted to live the American dream, people are living the American dream out here. It's not a pipe dream. People do it every single day out here. They start with next to nothing. Some people like myself start in a tent, and look at this place now. 6 years ago, everything was taken from the property when we started all over here again, and now we've got fences and kennels and corrals and hog pens and chicken pens and rancho pollo. We've got pens for sheep, and we can offer emergency services for people in need to put their animals. This property just has it's an abundance. Like I said, I can't stand here all day. That there is a hip camper coming today, so people come pay to sit, $35, $40 or something like that. I think I charge to come park out here for the night and to enjoy this largest dark sky sanctuary. It's kind of a bummer because I didn't realize. I thought that they did a background check or whatever, and it didn't go through, and I didn't check my email, so I probably missed 20 or 30 hip campers. So yeah, it is an absolute. I think that's another thing I need to do. I haven't done. I need to offer a hip camp area, if you know what hip camping is, on that Bowens property that I have off down the road, because it's just got a beautiful view of Table Rock. It's quiet. There's only one out of 200 acres plus. I think it's longer than that. Wait, it's about 300 acres, 360 acres. There's only one house on that 300 acres. And so you could literally have the whole, that 20 acres to yourself out there. So what a beautiful parcel that is. It's got great roads, good access. In this valley, we do have access with roads are being a little messy out here, but that property's just got gorgeous, really nice roads. They grade out the main road 3 to 4 times a year because the farmers live back on that back road way back there up against Table Rock. So great view. And that's what I'm trying to do. Father creates all things. So it's not like me, doing it. It's Father through me. I am a pastor and I'm a teacher. So you would have to be some kind of faith. This is High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. I don't sup with vipers. I'm not saying you have to be religious because I don't like religions. There's not one religion that they're all vain. That means worthless. And I don't have any phileo, for these worldly things anyway. So if you like the word, this is a good place to come and study too. You can sit out here and be quiet. I can lay anywhere on my property. When he says to go to a dark place, a secret in a closet, or somewhere that's quiet and where you can hear the word of God, where you can not have the lights and the bustle of the sirens and the Broadway and where you can literally hear that voice inside your head. This is that place. And that's what I think a lot of people, they love living out here, because in the city, it's so hard to concentrate. There's always noise and hustle and lights and sirens, and it's hard just to sit down somewhere and have a relationship with the word. But most people don't. They want to go to some church where they're not even studying the word. They're a bunch of ignorant idiots, and they go after all in my opinion, by my studies, because I've studied for decades, all religious people are what I consider Satanist. because Satan is the adversary and they don't study the word. So lots of time to study the word out here. I mean, where I'm at, you get decent internet, probably the best in the valley. I live in one of the best, so you can still study, use your lexicon, maybe if the internet's not on, use your eSword when it's up. There's just a lot of ways to come out here and, have a relationship and live a lifestyle. You're going to get a lot closer to God when you're in nature, when you're in the country, than in some city. God isn't in the cities. God hates towers. God hates Babylonian buildings, towers. What do you think? All those Nimrod microwave towers. Do you think Father likes microwave towers? Father don't like microwave towers. Do you think Father likes you living in the city? Father hates pride, one above another, like a 2-story building. No. So Father doesn't like, broad is the way that leads to the wide gate that leads to hell. Notice all your big cities got a Broadway and a main street, and all your big city lights and your interchanges. Country is the narrow way. Narrow is the way that leads to the straight gate. You ever notice as country roads are narrow, city roads are broad. Broad is the way that leads to hell, to the wide gate. Narrow is the way that leads to the straight gate. So, see, I don't need a religion to do that, do I? I can be out here in the country and have a relationship with my Father, with Shiloh, and not worry about these. I still go to the city. Actually, I lived near one of the best cities on this rock, but it's still a city. It's still full of microwave towers and 5G whiz and all this. This is not healthy. It's not good for your body. Your body's a temple. It's not what goes in a man that defiles us. It's what comes out of us. But there's nothing in the city for me. So I feel blessed to be able to have people come out here if the opportunity Father makes it for them. So I don't sit around and wait for opportunities to happen in my life. I make opportunity, and that's the way opportunity is something that, again, a lot of people just falls right in their lap. And some of us, we make the opportunity. So if you're one of those people who makes opportunities, this could be an excellent, excellent timing for you. So I don't think anybody will take me up on it, but I don't care. At least I put myself out there and I tried. So I don't like the land just to sit here and not be used. So I have an abundance. 45 acres is way more land than I could ever use in my life. So I'm just not 20 years old anymore. So just don't have the drive to be trying to work 45 acres. I was working 65, but I sold Kevin the 20, and now he's developing that property. But yeah, what an amazing time, guys, to be here and to have. Let's turn that down. All right. There's no address out here. We don't have addresses. So I'm in Silver Lake, Oregon. I'm off of Walled Road. It's Silver Lake. The property's off of Bowens. If you want to see the property that I'm talking about, it's at Bowens Road and Kitty Litter or Oil Dry Road is the name of the road. So there's all kinds of hunting. Here it's not. I'm right. The wood line's right here. I can see the woods right behind me. I mean, I'm 15 minutes, so we could be in the tree line. So I'm sitting right down off the tree line. This came down where I'm at, and this came down here, and this was all an inland ocean. So I sit down in this valley, but I can look out right my windows. There's Table Rock that's covered in trees right here, but there's all kinds of wood. I mean, you go right out here into the Waimea National Forest right here. And then you've got all this that goes down towards Klamath and all the Medford and Grants Pass, and it's just nothing but woodline. So the hunting here is some of the best in the whole wide world. We have some of the best deer. The deer come through the property, but not too often because of the woodline is, down here in the valley. We have the pronghorn down here, or the speed goats, they call them. What do they call those? They're orange and white. I apologize. I'm a farmer, so we call them speed goats. But they're the pronghorn antelope. That's what they are. There's antelope out here too. Deer out here. Elk come through Fort Rock from time to time. So some of the best hunting in the Cascade ranges that you can ever. Black-tailed mule deer, they're so huge. I can't even remember what some of them dress out with. It's phenomenal. Not elk size, but just massive, massive deer, and beautiful, gorgeous, excellent tasting meat too. The venison is just phenomenal. And you've never heard of a recall on venison, have you? No. So fishing. I mean, there's bodies of water. There's Duncan Reservoir, Anna Reservoir, Summer Lake. I think the second largest lake in the state of Oregon is down here behind me. The Cascade Lake is dotted with literally, dozens of lakes that you can hike into, hundreds of lakes, but lakes that you can't just drive up to. So you've got brown trout, cutthroat trout. You got um, there's where there's brook trout. There's some of these lakes where there's like a lake that I want to go because I haven't been fishing in forever, probably 10 years because all I do is work. But there's a lake that has nothing but cutthroat trout. It's about a 3 mile hike in, but it has nothing but cutthroat and brown trout in it. And I mean, the cutthroat are beautiful. They were stocked back in the 20s, is the last time they stocked that. Um, and they do stock a lot of these lakes, hide the lakes with trout via helicopter. So there are a lot of lakes too that have, planters in there, but they breed out year after year, and they almost go back to a native type of the meat in them isn't that pasty Pepto Bismol pink kind of whatever that is. That's not very good. They're okay to smoke to make like smoked trout or something like that, but not something I'd want to eat. But at that lake, I can't remember what the name of the lake was, but they encourage you to take out all the cutthroats. And I'm telling the cutthroats, their whole gill plate is just completely orange. And then a lot of them, because they're so native, it's not just that gill plate. A lot of times you catch a cutthroat, and it just kind of has that orange or kind of a orangish red gill plate. I'm talking the whole side of the face is fish is red, and all the way down their belly where it was white is now turned red. So there are some places to hunt fish out here that are just phenomenal. Prineville, reservoir. You've got all this. I could just go on. Look at the lakes out here. They're just absolutely some of the best lakes in the United States here to fish, and some of the best hunting here in the Cascade range. This has got some of the biggest black-tailed deer around. They're monsters. Some of them are just absolutely. Their racks are just. I mean, they got like the bottom of their tine is like that big, like an elk antler. They're friggin' huge. So, but I don't get a chance to do that much because I work so much. But that's okay. It's somebody can come here and live that lifestyle, work 3 or 4 hours a day, and decide to hunt, fish, trap, or whatever, and then come back, start their day. So it's a great place to come out and visit too. Even if you just want to come out to the area, this is an amazing. Oregon has I have been to every state in the United States. I have lived in Alaska. I've lived in Hawaii. I've had been a chance. I've been to every major city. I've traveled because I'm a veteran, outside the country. Oregon is by far the most beautiful state in the nation. I'm not saying that there isn't other beautiful states. There's many, like the California redwoods, the up in Washington, the they have the redwoods up there, and they have this whole Pacific Northwest is just but every state has beautiful places in it, but this Oregon has all four seasons in the state, if you will. It has all four climates right here, and we are sitting at a kind of a parallel that allows that to happen. So we have a high desert, we have very wooded, we have meadows, we have just about every kind of climate. I live in the high desert because I like the high desert. I like the idea of having hot days and cold nights. I don't like to be hot at night. I've lived back east where you sweat in your bed at 12 o'clock at night. That's not fun. That sucks. I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't have to. So there's really very relatively no humidity out here. It has been since it's been raining more, but it definitely is, a much better climate when it's conducive to cooling off at night. I don't like the idea of, I remember living, my son was born in Indiana and Kentucky, and, back there it's just so freaking muggy and it's so hot and the weather back there sucks. It's beautiful, once again. I mean, very conducive to growing lots of food. Uh, but I'd rather be in a place where if it's hot during the day, and we haven't had a 100-degree day out here, and I don't know how long since we went under the heat dome. This place has just turned into 300 days of sunshine out here. There's a lot of sunshine, so we don't get that. But it's actually rained more in the last couple of years, which is nice because it's greening this desert out. I mean, I've got more bushes shot up this year I ain't never seen out here. Like, where did all these come from? Well, it happens in cycles. So definitely something that, but it's mild. Again, you have cooler nights. Uh, cool. Yep, Illinois. I remember when I was living in Indiana, I used to go travel over there to my daughter's dad lived up there for a while. He moved from Florida to Illinois, and then he ended up moving to Indiana and Corden, where I was at. But yeah, Illinois, same thing back there. Just guys, it's just you can't cool off at night. There's too much humidity. I love it back there, but look at a population density map. Do you realize how many people live on the East Coast? It is disgusting. You guys are packed in there over like sardines. You don't realize it, but you are. You are packed in. I encourage you to take a look at a population density map. Look at a satellite map at nighttime. That's a great way to get an idea of where the populace is at by the lights, the satellites. And look at the East Coast. You guys are all slammed in there. I mean, you guys are slammed in there like sardines. You come over to the East Coast or to the West Coast, and even through the Rockies, there's just hardly anybody out here. And so you got space. So that's the other thing. There are just too many people back east for me. Love the attitude back east. Love people from back east. I'd rather be around people from back east than West Coast. They're more country. They're more my style. They're slower. They appreciate the finer things, and they don't have that hustle bustle like out here on the West Coast. But there's too many people back there on the East Coast for me to even want to mess with it. And you guys' weather has been horrible the last couple of years. Just absolutely dominating you guys' weather out there. It's dangerous. The weather has shifted. The whole monsoon season, the whole tornado alley isn't, I remember when I was stationed at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, right there in the, tornado alley. That whole alley is shifted over to the east now. The weather is not what it once was. So I couldn't live on the East Coast just because of the weather. That's it. That's where I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and have those consistent, I remember like thunderstorms out here like I ain't never seen here over on the East Coast. Lightning storms and things like, man, this is like a whole different animal out here. So, I remember when I was stationed at Fort McClellan, Alabama, oh my gosh, but good people, love the people back east. So much more. I relate to them so much more. I do good when I go back there. I blend in and I fit in where I start picking up a twang a little bit. And I just blend in, but too hot. I want to cool off at night, and I want to be hot during the day. I want it to be hot during the day, and I want to cool off at night. I want to open my windows up and the whole house just get cold, and then in the morning you can shut the windows up and the house will stay, cool without running your air conditioner till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You're not going to do that back east. It's just too muggy, too hot, yeah, it's beautiful though. I don't want to take away from any of those states. I love back east. I love the history. Buildings are much older. Um, there's just they blaze the Oregon Trail, so everything started as far as over here is when we came in settlement. So the buildings back there are just the histories. But oh my God, I just lose my mind when I go back east. I just love how old it is because I love history. But either way, there are ways to do this. People are doing it. They're doing it in the Ozarks. They're doing it in the Appalachians. There's a lot of people, throughout the hills and stuff, living this lifestyle like I'm living here. But it's a trade-off. You got to deal with more people, the mugginess. the cost of living is pretty good back east, but you don't have to have that cost out here. You just got to stop chasing the big house and on the little piece of property in the big city and move out to the country and start, on your own and build from the ground up. I started with a tent. I lived out here in a tent, then I moved into an RV, and then I started building out cabins out here. Now there's 3 cabins, and there's a shelter too out back that eventually that's probably where I'm going to move. You can get a hold of my predestined4light at gmail.com. In the bio, there's an email. Just make it very clear in your heading that, hey, I'm trying to come back. I want to visit. I'm looking to come to Homestead or whatever. And I would even allow people, if you're making a trip and you're part of the ministry, I won't charge you. I do hip camp out here. If you just wanted to come visit for 2 or 3 days or a week, I'm not going to charge anything to come out here. You're more than welcome to come out here and stay for a week. I'm not going to charge a park. Maybe we'll put you up in one of the cabins. Or, I'm still working, building some of the cabins out, but get you comfortable. Because if somebody just wants to come out here and enjoy the ministry, that's why I, do this. Is not for me. I didn't purchase this land for me. As a matter of fact, I didn't buy land until I was in my 40s, and I didn't buy it for me. So none of the properties actually built for me. The 5 acre I built to build the UFO, which I did. That was awesome. I got about $40,000 into that project to build the UFO. It crashed, right? The UFO crashed out there. It was 48 feet in the air. We had that thing. It was awesome. But it crashed. And so I brought it back over here to the ministry. This property was purchased 10 or 11 years ago to build a community, to learn how to live under the ground, to live with a zero cost lifestyle, to where you can literally get your costs down to next to zero, where you don't need any money. Oh, no, that's not possible. Oh, yes, it is. It is. I mean, you might have taxes and you might have some, but you've been sold on the idea that you got to chase a big job and a big house and a car. And the American dream that's gone. The American dream now is living out in the country, getting a nice little cabin. How many people come out here? They buy it. Like there's this guy, he built a cabin. It's 700 square feet with a basement. That's 1,400. It's 2 stories. That's 2,100 square feet on a 700 square foot print. And he's got a deck upstairs and downstairs. So the guy's got like 2,500 feet of square foot living space on a 700 square foot footprint. 21 plus his decks, and you can't tell, it's modest. It doesn't look like very big building. It's nearly 3,000 square feet, but he's, and he's living the dream, and in which his cost was, and he built that all with new material, but it's next to nothing, compared to like it's the average home in Bend, Oregon sold for $800,000. Every 3rd home sold for $1 million. So there is a lot of potential in this valley. Again, it has been growing at an alarming rate. So this is the time to come out here and get your spot. They are now protecting this place. They have set it as the largest dark sky sanctuary in the whole world. There's not a larger dark sky sanctuary anywhere on this rock. So if you like the stars, if you love the Milky Way galaxy, if you like seeing things in the sky that your eyes can't tell you or explain, you won't have words, you can sit out here for 1 hour and look up, and you'll see things that your brain can't explain. And I don't do aliens. UFOs are all man-made. There's no such thing as alien UFOs. So this is a good place to come see that. And if that's what you think, go for it. If that's fine, but I don't do that. I don't. That's why I set the UFO at the end of the property, was just to kind of tool with people. It is. I'm spiritual, so I'm not mocking them. I'm just. It brings the conversation to light. So people like, dude, you built a UFO? Yeah, so what's up with that? I thought you didn't believe in UFOs. I didn't say I didn't believe in UFOs. I said I don't believe in aliens, because alien is a word. It's not a person. Alien means foreign. It doesn't mean a physical entity. And people love their sensationalism. So there is a lost tribe of red-headed giants that roam this valley, not big feet. And I'm in the Pacific Northwest because people love their big feet out here too. There's like Crescent that's full of Bigfoot stuff and Sasquatch and all that. But this would be the best place. If you think there's a Bigfoot, this is where he's going to be. right here, but I don't do Bigfoot either. I don't think Chewbacca had Wookiee with an Ewok. Now we got big feet running around. So I try to keep to the scripture, and I live that lifestyle. And it doesn't mean that people have to agree with me, but you know, I was thinking about building a Bigfoot out here. I built a UFO. Why not build a Bigfoot? I was going to build a massive Bigfoot out of tires. I was going to build it all out of tires. I have tires and collecting and build it, I don't know, 20 foot tall or something, 20, 30 foot tall Bigfoot, and then cover it with concrete and paint it and whatever. I do weird things like that. So if you come out here, I got lots of projects like that things that are just a little off, but that's me. I don't do the norm. I'm not the average guy, but you don't have to be me. That's why I have a property. I've decided, because I was going to put people on this 20 acres here. Nobody's coming on this property unless they just want to come visit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I couldn't move somebody on this property, but I have another property that's 3 miles that I can hit from the back road here or from the main road here and catch and meet up with you. So we could help each other. We could network easily from each other. But, you know, I could probably spit and the dust devil would blow it over there that way. It's literally almost straight across from where I'm at, 3 miles from where I'm here. And it's another 20-acre parcel there. So I'm excited about getting, some people out here, and I don't think anybody will take me up on the offer, but it's okay. Kevin came out here because he said nobody would, and then he bought the property next to me, because he was serious, and he came out in his Tacoma, and the whole idea for me is eventually we might have to leave this place and go deeper into the woods, deeper away from people. So not to fight with people. So if you're a fighter, if you're a survivalist, if you're a Second Amendment, sovereign citizen, get out of here. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with that kind of mentality. It's not the end of the world. Grow up. We're going to be here for an unknown period of time. The world's not ending. Get over it. I know you want bombs falling in your backyard before you'll do something about it, but I'm not that guy. I have a shelter. I have a $500,000 storm shelter that I built, not for bombs, for hailstones, for wind, for weather, not for the end of the world. It's not a doomsday bunker. It's a underground storm shelter, and it would cost between $250,000 to $500,000 to build. So if you had Atlas Storm Shelter come out here, that's my biggest project on the property, is the shelter. It's taken a lot of years. It's still not finished. I'm 5 years into the build, 6 years into the build now. So most things don't happen overnight, especially when you're just one man doing it. So I don't have the luxury. I'm not rich. I own land. I have animals. I have assets. I used to be more heavily invested in precious metals. I've had to take those and secure those for some legal out here for what I'm doing out here as well. So, yeah, what an opportunity, right? Opportunities are made. Opportunities don't fall in your lap. But guess what? A lot of people, opportunities fall in their lap. I'm just not that guy. I can't remember the last time some opportunity came up. Oh my God, look at that opportunity. Nope. I made my opportunities. I made them. So opportunities are not something that I wait for. Opportunities are made. So if you can make opportunity, you'll do really good out here. You'll thrive, not just survive. And that's the type of mentality. So I know that's a very rare to find people that don't need to be told to get up out of bed. It's where I'm at. It's $200 an acre. I have the 20-acre parcel there. I have a 5-acre parcel. I have 20 here. If you're looking to come set up a small homestead, a mini farm, I'll help you. I can't say that I'll give you all the labor, but I can definitely help you, guide you, show you what I've done, show you what other people have done out here, give you access to ways you can get fencing, get corrals, corral animals, build pens, build things with very little cost. Get yourself where you're eating your own chicken eggs every day, guys. I mean, let me go show you these eggs that we got yesterday here. These are the eggs from yesterday. I only have one that lays. All the other ones are lay the same, but she lays an egg every day. These are gorgeous eggs, guys. I mean, this is not the kind of egg that you get from the store. This egg is just, the yolk in this egg is phenomenal, phenomenal. phenomenal. Okay. She's kind of got like a blue tint. I know that looks white, but it's blue. I don't know why. I had the birds at another location, and I just went and picked them back up because they were at another property in town, and the ducks went to another property. And so, because I was doing some things around here, but she was laying a lot bluer, and I guarantee you, I'm going to get this watch. Follow this ministry. This will turn blue. I'll get this egg not to be. It's a light blue, and it is blue, but you know. This is worth it, guys. I eat 4 to 5 eggs a day, sometimes more eggs a day. Okay. And if you want to grow a garden, I'll give you an extra acre and we'll go walk it and fence it off for another $100. So if you want 2 acres, $300. A single acre, if you just want a homestead, set up smaller. But if you want to set up a big old garden, or maybe you want to have more land because you want to have some goats and you want to have room to graze, I'll give you an additional acre for $100. So, but you got to be self-sufficient. You got to come out here, work hard, get your stuff together, and live the dream. I want to hear, oh my God, that's the best thing I ever did. I am living the dream now. I'm able to keep money in my pocket. Think if somebody got a $1,500 Social Security check every month, something like that. I don't get any money. I'm a veteran. I don't get veterans benefits. I was a single parent for 8 years. Mom and dad never got any child support. Don't get Social Security or disability, and I make it out here, but I'm self-made. I don't sit around and do nothing. I work for what I have. So you want this lifestyle? Come and get it. You know, come get the lifestyle. Come do it. A lot of people talk about this. Other people, they do it. So that beautiful egg right there. What a fatty. I get a little different tones here. Some lay a little lighter. They're all the same breed, but some are a little lighter than others. But they're all amazing. So, oh, there's Nigel. Did you hear Nigel the rooster? He's out there cutting it up. So, all right, 8:26. All right, I got 4 more minutes, guys, before I got to go. I got to get up and get things done. I'm my own boss, so I can't just sit around and jaw jack with you guys all day. I'd love to, and I do, but I have things, you know, winter's coming, and I want this property ready to go so I can just chillax all winter long. Just throw wood in the wood stove. If I don't want to build, last year I built. If I don't want to build this year, I won't. So, and I want actually like to get the things done, because if somebody else is going to come out here, if possible, I want to have a little bit of time dedicated to help them out too. So that's why I'm trying to divide my time right now. But anyways, it's funny, we didn't get anybody take us up on it. That's fine. I don't think that anybody would. I know that most people are very afraid to try to jump and to do something like this, but you come out here and you'll see there's a lot of people who are not afraid to do it, and they're living the American dream. You know, like when I went up to pick up the birds next door, that somebody moved in next door to her, they've got a little one of those tough sheds, and that's what they're living out of right now. And it's like, wow, how would you live out of that? But hey, it's a start. I moved out here in a tent, in an Arctic tent, and lived in that. Moved my son into a motorhome, and I lived in the tent, in an Arctic 10-man tent. And I did fine. I had a stove in there, and I was fine. It didn't take me long before I bought a travel trailer, and I moved into that. I built a deck, started doing, and just kept building my way in here. So, I mean, this property goes all the way now 15 acres to the back. That's where the storm shelter sits, about 15 acres, maybe about 10 acres back, about halfway between the property. So do it, guys. If you don't do it here, go find somewhere to live. Get off the grid. There's ways to do this, and you can thrive, not just survive. Oh, cool. Nice. We got power on the panels here. So if you're interested, hit me up in the description. There's a link to my email. Just come back. We can discuss it on a later live stream, but I can't. I've got to get to work here. I've got hip campers coming today, and I need to prepare the place where they're going to park at, and because I've changed the hip camp location, so I've got to change the sign over and do a little bit of a weed pulling in the area that I'm going to have them be parking at. I used to do on the 20-acre parcel, but I sold that to Kevin, so I haven't had a hip camper since then. I didn't know that my background check there was something a box that didn't check or something, and I didn't see it. And so probably dead. I don't know. Might not, I don't know if he's alive. He surely don't want to talk to me, or he's scared or something. So I don't know. Um, but I'm trying. That's another thing that I'm going through out here. If you've been following the channel, I'm a veteran, so I stand up for the Constitution. And they started going after my son, so I have to get that taken care of. So I don't know where he's at. So I don't know. He could be dead for all I know, and I'm not going to stop looking for him. I have reported him missing, and I have reported my daughter missing, but the law enforcement is the one who has to do it. I can't, I have now um, put all my precious metals up, and it was $11,000 worth of precious metals in gold alone, not to include the silver that I had to try to locate my son. That's what I'm saying. And then there's a private investigator involved in that. And if the state doesn't do anything, I'll probably be placing a lawsuit again here against the state. So, not that I want to, because I've tried not to. I'm just trying to live my life. I didn't ask for any of this. So they're the ones who did it. And so I think that the law enforcement is involved with my son's either disappearance or his death. So it seems hard to believe that law enforcement could do something like that, but I think in this case, that's the case. So I'm a prior investigator. I've done my own investigation, and that's where my evidence is leading me to now. So I don't like it. It hurts my heart. It puts a big lump in my throat, but what do? God has his hand on him no matter what. I can't change it. I have tried for 14 months to make this uh, go away. And as a matter of fact, it's kind of backfired in my face, but it doesn't stop me. I still have a homestead out here. I still with people in the community. I'm still a pastor. I still, have 50,000 plus followers and subscribers through the TikTok and whatever platform that come back on a regular basis that want to hear this word. So I can't just give up my lifestyle. And that's kind of my problem, is that I have too much service of other people. I should really be helping myself and not worried so much about other people. But that's just not my nature. I joined the military at 17 years old. I'm a service to other being. I've been that since I was a child. I cannot stop serving people. That's just what Father made me to be. You can't turn a goat into a sheep or a sheep into a goat. And, well, I'm not a goat or a sheep. I'm a dog. And so he made me, I'm a shepherd, and I lead the sheep. I lead the flock. I was a veteran, so I know how to lead. It's just what he made me. It's my prior history. It's my prior who I am. But I'm trying to do everything I can. Every day I don't ever stop thinking about my son. And I think that the only reason that I'm able to keep my body steady and not, get crazy and start doing or thinking stupid things and want to do, is knowing that God has his hand on him, and that this is what God wants for him right now. I don't know why he's beating him like this, but I don't know why he beats me sometimes either. But he knows what he's doing. I know he knows. He does all these things after his own counsel for his own pleasure. So it is a blessing, and a burden. So we'll see. It's hard to think that this land that I'm trying to bring these people on was the land that my son was supposed to move on. That's not a nice thing to do. I'll get another piece of land if he wants to come back out here, if he's still alive. But I have to locate his breathing body before I can ever offer him a place to live. So that's what parents do. You don't stop taking care of your kid. My son's 25 years old. My daughter is in her 20s. They're but that's okay. I've got to move on. I've got to move on. Like I said, I'm still trying to purchase that ministry down in Ecuador. I'm a little disappointed that I had to, take all those precious metals and put them towards the investigator and the attorney to try to get this taken care of. So, because that was supposed to be the money to purchase the Ecuador property with. So it's okay. If Father wanted to be different, it would be different. I know that. So all I can do is work with what I have. That's what I do. That's what's in front of me. Work with what he gives me. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, right? So what am I to do? Trust in his, word and have faith like Daniel. No matter if he throws me in a den of lions, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop. So I just figured it's time. It's not like we're out of time, but we're running out of time. We need people to come out here right now, within a week or two, and get started. You can't sit around and wait for this any longer. You've got to get started if you want to be ready for whatever's coming, whatever you think it is. It's not by sitting around and doing nothing. It's by getting up and beginning away from the system, becoming your own system. And so, will people take me up on it? I don't know. I can't change that. Father creates all things. I know that. Remember, opportunities are made, and I make them. So I'm trying to afford that opportunity for somebody else. I know a lot of people would love to live off the grid. I see people when I walk around on the property like, you're living the dream. I have people come out here and just like, dude, this is, you're living the American dream. You are absolutely living what, I want to be doing. Well, what are you doing? Why are you not doing it? Well, okay, excuses. Everybody's got an excuse, but not people out here. Everybody out here is doing it. And it's not just here. There are people who are doing this in every country. This is not some kind of rarity. Uh, no, I'm adding to the ministry. I'm adding to the property in Ecuador is not purchasing it for me. Um, as a matter of fact, I don't want to live anywhere. I don't want to live anywhere. I want to travel, and I want to have a lifestyle where I can just move around, and I don't need a home. I need shelter over my head at the end of the night, something in my belly, and I'm okay. So I'm looking to purchase the property down there to tithe food to the ministry. The reason why I'm purchasing the property is because it's a 5 acre or 2 hectare parcel, and it's got 20 plus trees, fruit trees growing on it right now. There's never been any kind of fertilizer that has not been organically fertilized from the property itself. So that's the purchase of the property in Ecuador is for food. It's a food-based ministry. 100% I want this ministry to produce food. That's it. Obviously, we'll still produce content through the channel, but the main tithe is to give food. Now, if I can obtain extra funding through a lawsuit or something like that, then obviously I'll make ways to give the money to people within the ministry for housing. I plan on, if I file the lawsuit for this issue with my son, it could land hundreds of millions of dollars, 10, 20, 30, 50. I'll be building more housing out here and putting people up into housing. I already decided that I'm going to do basements in stucco buildings out here. I like the idea of having the wood and this old look, like it looks like an old movie set and everything's old. It looks like it's from the 1800s, but I want it to be efficient. So I have this other side of the property over here. It's kind of separate. It's about divided in half, 5 acres. I'm over here. There's still a 5 here. And there's, the 20. I'd like to put all those houses over there and build 3 or 4 houses on this property to have people who need the housing to help the ministry. And I also plan on building a very large hacienda, a all terracotta, all stone, all tile, all stucco down in Ecuador. And down in Ecuador, I bet you in Ecuador, if I did what I did right now, I could have people on my property in an hour, and I'd live way out in the country because people would work. I actually plan on paying people down there to work. Here, I'm not going to, you're part of this ministry, and, you just get to enjoy all the benefits, build your home, and there's no costs for people to be a part of the ministry. The homesteading thing is something completely different. I'm trying to give people an opportunity to get off the grid, and $200 a month is very reasonable. To have an acre of land is unheard of. So I thought I'd make it so tempting that it might make somebody actually jump and do it, but probably not. Probably not. Like I said, it's more than just entertainment. People love watch people home, off style, off the grid, and homesteading, and it's fun to watch. But it's no different than like watching a soap opera or just whatever, some movie that you like. It's fun to watch, but they don't actually do it. They talk about it, but they don't do it. So I know that. I've been inviting people out here for 10 years. This ain't the first time I invited people. 10 years I've been inviting people to come out here, and nobody came. So Kevin did, but he's different. That's a whole different animal. So anyways, if you're interested and you want to relocate to Ecuador in the future, I will be offering a similar thing down there with people, hands to come down there with no cost down there as well. If you're going to become part of the actual ministry, work within the ministry, housing will all be paid for. Your food, you'll grow your own food. So you won't have a food bill, you won't have a power bill, you won't have a water bill. you'll be able to breathe and live the American dream and not worry about chasing all this debt, credit cards, big bills, big payments. I've got car insurance. You know, that's my major bill: food, fuel, and car insurance. For my whatever monthly. Otherwise, all my money goes towards this ministry, and I pay the ministry off $47,000. It's paid off. I pay the 5 acres off. It's paid off. So the only property that I pay on now is the Bowen's property. So I thought, you know what? I need to be a little bit more efficient. Why don't you just give people, that's less than my land payment every month on the property. I'd be charging people less than my land payment to live there. So it's a good opportunity if somebody will take it. But what's it been, an hour and 15 minutes? Nobody took it. All right, guys, I got to go. Love you, brothers, sisters. Thanks for letting me, throw this opportunity at you. If you're watching the restream here and you want to be a part of this homestead off-grid lifestyle, I'm offering 1 acre parcels right now for $200 a month. We can decide where, when. It'll all be written on paper. I'm not doing anything without a paper contract on it. This isn't just a word of mouth thing. So we'll make sure it's legal and binding. Sign some paperwork so you're legal. You got a place to stay. You can't just be thrown off of. I hate the idea of being able to, somebody telling me I can leave or can't go. I hate that. So we can definitely put something down on paper. So if you want to, live this off-grid lifestyle, if you've got a tent, a travel trailer, something, and you want a little tiny home and you want to come live out here, I've got a beautiful property that's got good road access. The roads are pretty bad out here, but this property's got good roads on it. Get a hold of me and maybe we can make something happen. So I'll give you an offer if you want a garden, maybe, good goats or something like that for another $100 a month. We'll get you another, you could be living on 2 acres for $300 a month. 1 acre, $200. So if that sounds like something you want to do, we'll put it on paper. We'll get you started. I'll help you. I'll show you how I did it, show you how others did it. There's other homesteaders out here, lots of YouTube channels out here that are doing the same thing or similar to. Get you in contact with some of these people and away you'll go. You'll be living the American dream. But my hopes are not great because I've been offering this for 10 years and still nobody's come out here and live the American dream with me. Well, Kevin is, but either way, love you, brothers, sisters. Take care. Get off the grid now. Now's the time to go. I don't know. This is SHTF. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I mean, it's hit the fan and I can go into town and pick up supplies today. It's unbelievable how much opportunity is still floating around right now. It's just abundant. So go grab those opportunities, by the horns, take the bull by the horns and ride it out. So, okay. Love you, brothers, sisters. Again, thanks for your time. Please get a hold of me via the description. You'll see there is a link to my Gmail address at Predestined4light, Predestined4light, if you want to be a part of this. So love you. I got to go. I got things to do out here. I'd love to chat with you all day, but like I said, I've got a hip camper coming out here and I want to have a good area for them to park, and I've got to change the hip camp sign since we moved the location of the hip camp out here. So get a hold of me. We'll see you guys on the next Predestined for Light, former channel name, and now High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries. Thanks for those 12 thumbs up. You guys appreciate your support, and leave a comment after the video if you want on anything you might have heard. We haven't been getting any comments again. People are just falling off after the videos or after the live streams, but it's okay. I just like people to leave a comment. That way they know what's within the live stream and what we talked about, or they can make a comment about it. So, all right. Last opportunity here. You want to get off the grid. You want to, get a wind turbine, solar panels. You want to learn how to do this. I'll help you do it. I can't give you every minute of my day, but I can help you do it. There are people out here doing it, and I know others that can help you too. So I've got a lot of experience. I've been living off the grid for 10, almost 11 years out here. I lived off the grid in Hawaii. This ain't my first time living off the grid. So it's a great lifestyle. Oregon is a cannabis-friendly state, so you can grow 4 medicinal plants out here for yourself if you use that as your medicine, if you're one of those, without being bothered. So there's people who grow more. I'm just saying that is one thing that's nice about the state of Oregon and out here. Grow your 4 plants. That should be enough to get you by. And so you can do that. Nobody's going to bother you out here for that either if you're one of those. And I use cannabis as medicine. I don't take narcotics and I don't do drugs. So I use that. And so just a lot of good things about the area, that it's not perfect. Don't think you're coming out near some perfect place. There's no perfect place on this rock, but this is probably one of the best places where you can go set up a tent, a trailer, or something, and just put your vehicle out there and park, and nobody's going to come mess with you. That's not easy to do. A lot of people got code, ordinance officers, enforcement, all this, and they make it near impossible to live off the grid unless you just jump through a million hoops. And it's very expensive to live in a lot of places off the grid. It's not like that here. So, all right. Much blessings, Pastor Revelation. Please leave, again, a comment if you want to support the ministry. There is a link in the description. There's a Cash App. There's a PayPal. It's not you don't have to put money into this ministry to be a part of it. It's just there if you have abundance. Some people do. Most people don't. So don't donate if you don't have abundance, meaning you could set some money on your windowsill and it could just blow away because it's not going to hurt you. Then please don't add to the ministry. It's not required. You being here, your comment, your time, you can't print time and you can't make it. So your time is way more valuable than any single $100, $100,000, no 100,000, but no donation. We don't get donations like that to the ministry. So it's okay, because I don't want anybody donating unless they have an abundance. We do get some from time to time, but it's not very often. And I'd rather have it be that way, because this ministry is not here to gain monetarily. It just goes towards the ministry. So we do have some funds set apart for the ministry. Somebody donated, the largest donation I've ever had, donated to the ministry, and I immediately went and sunk it into precious metals so that it doesn't go anywhere. Now it's sitting there. So we've had our first donation to go towards the Ecuador property. It's somebody who's been coming in here pretty often recently. It's the largest donation I've ever had. It's not that much, but it is large enough where I went and purchased it and put it into precious metals so that it'll just sit there for the time being. Because remember, I just took $11,000 worth of gold and the remaining in precious metals and silver, and had to purchase the logistical, the legals here, so I can get all this taken care of, so we can get down to Ecuador and get that property going down there as well. So love you, brothers, sisters. Thanks for your time. Always a pleasure to have you here with me. And thanks for those who leave comments and who come back. And even if you're just one of those people, you just sit there in the wings, you don't say anything. You don't ever have to make a comment. I'd like if you did, but if you don't, that's okay too. If you're just here to glean from the channel, that's okay. You can come and glean anytime you want. Okay, just don't say something stupid, because I'll put you up on Front Street if you do. You know that. Don't come in here and try to be nice to me. Nice means to be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Come in here and try to gain favor. This is not an easy time to be alive. And, it doesn't mean that we can't survive, right? We can. And some of us won't just survive, but we'll thrive in this environment. This is our opportunity, brothers and sisters, to really shine, not pride above others, but to show what you're made of. So I got to do that today. I got to get up and show what I'm made of. And I can't, here's more important than anything, but I've got some physical things that have been lacking and I got to get to them. So thanks for your time. We'll see you guys again. Contact me through the Predestined for Light in the bio, in the description, if you want to come out here. All right, $200 for the 1 acre. I'll give you a 2nd acre if you want to have animals, garden, grow. You're not going to get that price anywhere else in the U.S. where I know you can live comfortably. There's plenty of amenities out here. There's jobs in this area too, tons of work. So it's a small town, but there's farming. There's places that are always hiring in town too. So it's not like you couldn't come out here and get a part-time job and just live the dream. So, all right. Nobody took me up on it this time. I didn't think anybody would. So that's just the way it goes. It's been 10 years. So what's going to change today? Nothing. Love you, brothers, sisters. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.